I got home on Friday night thinking that after a tough week traveling, I could finally relax and have a good time with my gorgeous wife. Our 3 kids are pretty much grown and living on their own now, so I thought maybe after 22 years of marriage we could go out and have a nice evening together. As I walked in from the garage, I noticed the mail on the kitchen table. I heard some noise upstairs, then footsteps coming down the stairs. My hot 45-year-old wife strolled into the living room wearing a short robe that barely covered anything. She couldn't get me excited when she put it on. "Oh," she said. "You're early. I didn't expect you until an hour or so later." I checked my watch and realized I was early, but not too early. "What's this about? Where are we going?" "Well, I'm outta here." "I don't know what you're up to." "Okay, there goes my weekend." "What do you mean you're leaving? Where to and with who?" She looked at a small bag of stuff at the end of the sofa. I have a date with William." "Hey, Strathmore, this is about the weekend. I'll be back home on Sunday night and we can discuss it then." What the hell did she just say? I thought I needed to finish getting ready. She turned and ran upstairs and I heard the door slam. "Screw it, I'm gonna do this," I said to myself. My first thought was that I needed backup. I grabbed my phone and called my daughter. I wasn't gonna be the one in trouble because of what my wife said. "Hey Daddy, what's up?" she answered cheerfully. I snatched my mom's purse and dumped everything out on the coffee table. "You need to get over here right away, Mom hit her head and she needs us." "I gotta go, Dad." "Dad." I heard. I hung up and my son got the same message, plus, "Call your brother and tell him to hurry over." "Dad, what the hell?" But I ended the call and immediately called her parents to tell them the same thing. They were just as confused and there were a few screams before I fainted. Judith's purse spilled out with the usual stuff. "Yo, I got my credit cards, a bunch of Trojan condoms, proof of my vasectomy, and an email confirmation from the Marriott Hotel for rooms 703 to 710 in Kenworth. Oh, and I thought William Strathmore was a pediatric surgeon at her job, but I've seen him at hospital Christmas parties over the last 5 years and is a total creep. His wife is hot, but she seems unhappy with him. I took away his credit cards and car keys." All right, so I grabbed the keys and then I took the email and stuck it in my pocket just in case. I grabbed my phone and checked it, her code was our anniversary date. Safety first, right? She was still busy upstairs, so I grabbed the emergency list from her work and found a good doctor. His cell phone wasn't necessary, but his home phone would come in handy. I dialed it and after 2 rings, someone picked up. "Oh man, I was waiting for your call. I don't recognize this number though, everything all right? Is this Mrs. Ramore?" "Yeah, who's this?" "This is David Collins, my wife is the head nurse at the..." "Hey, remember me from the hospital where your husband works?" "Yeah, Dave, I remember. My husband and I were just talking about you and your wife the other day. I was waiting for a call from William when you called. What can I help you with?" "So, your husband isn't home, huh?" "No, he's in Boston at a surgical conference. Everything's good. Listen, Mrs. Strathmore, I hate to break it to you, but I don't think he's really there. I had a fight with my wife and she mentioned she was planning to spend the weekend with him. Meet me at the Marriott in Kenworth, the booking ends on Sunday evening." "What are you talking about?" "I think we are both being lied to. I have email confirmation for renting 7 rooms next to each other on the 7th floor from today until Monday. I saved your number, Mr. Collins, I'll get back to you. I'm done with this nonsense." I checked the emergency contact list and got the hospital's health director Corinne Adams' number. I know her, she was good friends with my wife. I also knew her husband, he was a detective sergeant. I called her number and she picked up right away, saying, "Hello, who's this?" "It's Karen, this is David Collins, Judith's husband." I heard a muffled "Oh no, yes Dave, what can I do for you?" I could tell she was definitely scared. I think there's something fishy going on between Dr. Strathmore and my wife, and I wanted investigated and stopped. "Sorry Dave, I can't talk right now, I have to go," she said before hanging up. I was like, wow, that's weird. Almost immediately, Judith's cell phone rang. On the 3rd ring, feeling my stomach churn, I answered without waiting for anything else. Listen, the caller started going off on me, saying Judith spilled everything to him. What did you tell him? And then I just couldn't hold back. Not the whole story, Karen, but enough to figure out that sharp exhale on the other end was a dead giveaway. Goodbye, click. I quickly found her home number and called. 4 rings later, a guy picks up. I don't want to upgrade my cable, I say. Jerry, looks like you've had a rough one. Who's this? Dave Collins, Judith's hubby. Just getting bombarded with sales calls and spam, that's all. What's up? Hey, is Karen home? No, I'm watching the kids this weekend. Karen's at some work team building thing in Philly. Why do you want to know? I filled Dave in on everything I found out and suspected. It's not just those 3 involved, there's 7 hotel rooms. There was silence on the other end. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I don't know what I'm thinking, but I know one thing: Judith ain't leaving here tonight, even if I end up in jail. I'll hit you up if I find out anything, just don't be an idiot. Jerry used to be a cop and I could tell he was thinking. Judith then strutted down the stairs looking like a high-end escort in a red silk dress that barely covered anything. The neckline plunged almost to her belly button and was slid up the side to her thigh. She spotted her purse tossed on the table and exclaimed, "What the hell? I gotta go, and you threw all my stuff away." She started gathering her things and I yelled, "Oh no you don't, you ain't leaving now. Shut up and sit down." When I called her out, she got all shaky and said, "I don't belong to you, I can do whatever I want." I was like, fine, then I can too. So I grabbed the neckline of her dress and ripped it down, leaving her practically naked in just a bra, garter belt, and stockings. She freaked out, yelling about her dress not being mine, but I reminded her that I bought it for our 25th anniversary, along with most of the underwear she wore. I warned her that if she went out that night, she wouldn't be wearing that outfit. Hey, I was getting dressed when my phone started ringing. It was Mary Strathmore on the line, saying she called the cops and reported the car stolen. She bought the car for him and it's under her name. They pulled him over about 5 minutes ago and he tried to say he was her husband, claiming he had the right to drive the car. She laughed nervously as she told me they called her and he was saying he was her husband. I could hear him in the background as I loudly told the cops that it was impossible because my husband is. So, in Boston, the dude in the backseat freaked out and was like, "I need a lawyer, man. I gotta go down there and sort out this mess." He got arrested and the car got taken away. Tell your wife I'll come pick her up next time. We were chatting on speakerphone when I realized who was calling and Judith was like, "What did you do, David? Damn you." Just then, my kids came in and were like, "Dad, what's happening? Mom, are you all right?" Dave Jr. asked. My daughter Haley came running in and went up to her mom, asking, "Are you okay, Mom? What happened to your dress? Your dad freaked out, shooting me death stares." "What the hell, Mom, what did you do? Tell me, tell them. Why is Judith walking around with a dozen condoms in her purse? Planning on making water balloons or something?" "I don't know where they came from, they are not mine," Judith said in a barely audible voice. "And where were you off to, having a sexy weekend without your husband? Isn't that what you meant?" "I can do what I want, this is my body," Judith said, before realizing she had just spilled the beans in front of the kids. In a hushed tone, she said, "Well, that's my business." Young Dave rolled his eyes and headed to the kitchen to grab a drink. A few minutes later, he came back with an envelope. "Here, Dad, it's for you," he said, giving his mother a dirty look. Judith screamed and leaped up from the couch, her dress falling to the floor. "Don't read that," she screamed. Haley rushed to help her mother cover up. "Shut it, Judith, and sit down," I said as I opened the envelope and read aloud, "My dear husband, my sister is looking after her. Hey guys, my mom needs some help so I'll be with her this weekend. I'll be back home on Monday evening. Kisses and hugs, Judith." The kids stared at each other, not sure what to make of it. I could tell she wrote the note before she saw me face to face. Her confusion and panic were gonna get her busted. And then, like fate was just sitting back with some popcorn, the doorbell rang. Before Michael could even answer it, Judith's parents barged in. "Judith, are you okay?" her mom asked. Dad yelled, "What the heck is going on?" Judith passed out. "Mom and Dad, welcome to the center of the drama storm. Your daughter just messed up big time, probably ruining her own life and career. I saw her mom and my daughter trying to wake Judith up while her dad was getting angrier by the minute. I filled them in on what happened and the tension in the room got thicker and thicker. Just then, Judith came to and looked around, freaking out. She begged her mom for help, asking if she needed help or if she should call someone. Sis, you were supposed to help mom, maybe she can help you in return. I gave the note to dad and called your sister while he was reading it out loud. The phone rang and I answered, "Hello, is this David?" "Yes, Mavis, how are you?" "How's mom?" "She's fine, Judith is a lifesaver, I don't know what we'd do without her." "Can I talk to her?" "She's busy right now, but I'll ask her to call you back later." "Take care, mom." She snatched the phone and snapped at her second daughter, "This is not needed, you know it all." "Mother." Her sister started screaming like crazy. Judith couldn't take it anymore and fell to the floor. Now she was practically butt naked in front of her kids and parents. "Don't bother asking about my health, Mavis," she said, ending the call to the muffled sobs of her second daughter. Just then, my phone rang. It was David. "Jerry here. You were right. We got a search warrant for 7 rooms at the Marriott Hotel. We are searching them now." "Why, I know, I was out searching the area with a missing persons warrant that I swore in, and I ended up finding 12 more people, including my wife, 3 male doctors, 4 female doctors, 4 nurses, and another lady from the HR team." "Man, I'm really sorry, Dave. Like, seriously sorry." "Me too, Jerry. But hey, it is what it is. Thanks." And then I turned to my soon-to-be ex-wife and told her to go upstairs, put on some decent clothes, and get out of my house. She got up all teary-eyed, turned around to head up, but then stopped and begged me not to kick her out. "Wow, so you're saying you destroyed our marriage with your whole 'it's my body, I'll do what I want' attitude?" I've been tempted so many times. I could have hooked up with that cute waitress at the diner we used to go to after work. I could have picked up a woman at the car dealership where we got our car. Hell, even your own sister was flirting with me. But I was in love with you, and this is the thanks I get. Get out of my life. She completely lost it, turned, and ran upstairs. She was walking in her high heels when suddenly it got quiet in the living room. Then my daughter was like, "I'll go check on her and make sure she doesn't do anything dumb, Dad." Judith came downstairs about 30 minutes later with her suitcase, wearing jeans and a sweatshirt. Her makeup and hair were a mess. My oldest son stopped her on her way out and said, "Don't worry, Mom. Adrienne and I will plan your wedding so it doesn't mess up any of your partying plans. It's not like you got an invite anyway. Maybe Dad can bring someone new." Adrienne's girlfriend was Dave's main squeeze, but we had no clue just how serious it was. Now we know it's a total mess. Judith stood frozen at the front door, her mom walking her out while her dad turned to me. "Is there any way to fix all this?" he asked. "She clearly needs some help, but nothing seems to be happening. She can talk to my lawyer about it. Remember, son, she loves you," he added. I looked him dead in the eye and replied, "Funny way of showing it." The funny thing was, they were all spewing the same adult BS, all in cahoots. Everything was cool until they got caught. Turns out, the doc was using the company's credit card to throw a weekend party, renting rooms and buying drinks and food. The hospital tried to keep it hush-hush, but it came out that 8 people were listed as working or at some fake seminar or event. When the truth came out, some marriages fell apart. This wasn't the first party, but it was definitely the last. I ended up filing for divorce, even though I'm just a chill airplane mechanic. You feel me? Man, I was so into her, I loved her more than anything, like they say in that movie. I let things go on while she was going to therapy, the kids were there for me and could see I was trying. But man, it was so painful. And then out of nowhere, bam, it all fell apart. How could I have been so clueless? United Airlines was understanding and gave me extended medical leave. She lost her job, along with everyone else involved. The doctor got fired, sued, and prosecuted. Karen lost her job too, along with her assistant. There was a shortage of nurses and a lot of chaos. Hey mate, so my missus scored a job at the doctor's office. Turns out she's the newest member of this sex club they were recruiting for. Apparently they wanted some fresh meat and she caught their eye. Corin, this guy who works there, had been talking to her for a while, telling her it would be fun and she deserved it. Can you believe that? I had no idea. But hey, apparently a lot of husbands get off on their wives shagging other blokes. It took about 6 months for them to finally convince her, but I couldn't bear to lose her, so I stuck around. It took over a year, but I loved her too much. It makes you wonder, would things be better if she hadn't joined? Whether she's in your life or not, I was keeping a close eye on her. I kept asking her a ton of questions about how things were between us. It got to the point where it was driving her nuts, but she knew I was really trying. She listened to her therapist, her parents, and our kids, and she knew I cared. I even believed her when she said she loved me. I ended up suing the hospital and Dr. Strathmore, but had to wait in line behind his wife's divorce case. Luckily, I was ahead of the other people who were hurt. Me and the kids cleaned out the hospital together, which wasn't very lucky. We ended up settling out of court for a big chunk of cash in a secret agreement. The other people suing got even more money in sealed awards. My daughter-in-law is still not welcome anywhere. I don't know if her parents have talked to her yet. I feel lucky with how everything turned out. My mind was firing on all cylinders at the right time and I had the support of my kids and friends. I didn't think I was taking my marriage for granted, but maybe I was. We haven't done it in over a year, but we're back at it and our sex life is amazing. Sometimes she gets so into it that she cries afterwards, feeling all blissed out, and she even apologizes for all the drama she's caused. But things are slowly getting better, and like I said, I love her. Don't get it twisted though, I'm not a pushover. About 8 months after that messy situation, I saw the doctor at the gym and I couldn't resist. I went off on him, breaking 3 of his fingers and crushing 1 of his balls. He ain't so pretty anymore. Thankfully, there was a cop there with me. Hey, life moves on, yeah. I know it can be harsh and tough, so don't mess with my wife and I won't cause any trouble. Make sure to subscribe to our channel so your partner doesn't go astray. And make sure to stay tuned for the next story. Trust me, it's gonna be way crazier than this one. And if you're still a kid, don't even think about listening to what's coming next.